Alright, we've got the MVPS 2020 Southeastern Championship layout, the one at Austin Tindall Park. This is the third event for the MVPS. I'll go over this layout, give you some plays here, what are my ideas. So looking at this field, we've got the snake that is not traditional snake. You got that one knuckle that looks like a normal playable knuckle, but going in here, even the snake 2 and the snake 1 can see down the tape. You've got to have control of the tape to be able to crawl around it. But even in the snake 2, even though there's not an actual playable spot here, you don't have to worry about anything in front of you with that 50 structure, so you can play this mini wall. You can back up a little bit and kind of pop over the top, check the center. In this spot, you can pop up and check that Dorito side can. Crawling up, you can play this snake 3, looking inside at the center 50 at that Dorito. You can even see a little sliver of that Dorito 2 over there, so if he's hanging out looking inside, you can probably get that shot. But that Dorito side can is probably what you're going to have to deal with most of the time to make this move across that gap. Either that or that center 50 or one of those two Doritos. But it's not a super huge gap to get through, and you do have so many spots to look out of that guy might think you're at. He might be shooting one of those spots, but chances are you're going to have to get through his gun right here. But once you do get into the center 50, you've got a lot of spots you can see and you can shoot. It's a very dominant spot right here, playing inside or playing the wrap. Right, you're going to be able to shoot the snake unless he's in that snake 1 knuckle. Wrapping on the home, Dorito side can, Dorito side Aztec. Yeah, this is basically get here and you win. But on the Dorito side, if you look at it, there's no Dorito corner, and it's got that nice bow shape, a big curve of Doritos, and that Aztec at the start of it. So as you look at these Doritos, you don't have to really worry about anything straight ahead of you, especially if you're wrapping low. You just got to wrap, check off those shots where there are a bunch of bunkers that have inside shots at you. You're going to have to deal with 1 or 2 of those. That's basically what Dorito players have been having to do since the beginning of time. You don't have to worry about anything really down the tape, which is going to help you be dominant on that wrapping, putting people in and make those quick bumps. The only thing that can make this side easier would be actually putting just beams down in between Doritos. You could just crawl up it like a snake. So this is going to be a good Dorito side for those real Dorito players. Let's see where we're at. Dorito 3 right here. So we're not even at the 50, but we've got good shots. Probably pinching out snake side can. You got the corner over there, mini wall, the snake side Aztec, and wrapping around. You got that Dorito side Aztec to deal with, but then you've got shots on people that you could probably pinch out. And getting up into this Dorito 4, it gets even better. Okay, so those are the 2 tapes. Looking at the home and the shots off the break. On the snake side, you got that gap for the snake and for the snake corner there. That's going to make it really hard to get into there, either wide to the corner or into the snake. The mini wall, however, is pretty blocked out from that upfield snake tower. Right, so if you're the home guy, you're probably shooting right out in between that tower and that Aztec, and then switching your lane over into that snake lane. Okay, that Aztec is not the closest bunker, but shooting outside of that should give your paint time to get there in order to hit that snake runner. If you can bring your gun up quick enough. On the Dorito side, got a quick shot of that Dorito Aztec, which is not really that far off the box, but if you get your first paint there, you can shoot that Dorito Aztec every now and then at least. Those pins block out that big gap to the Dorito 1, but if you hang back here kind of closer to the start box, you can still see enough of that gap to probably shoot. And then you got that gap from the Dorito 1 to the Dorito 2 kind of as your safety lane there. Okay, these other 4 spots that make up the pocket, we got those 2 cans a little bit up in the middle and 1 Aztec on each side. Running and gunning to either of those spots, if you're going towards the Dorito side, you can help with that mini wall lane. So getting a little bit better angle at it out here than the home does. You just kind of got to thread the needle in between that wedge and the tower over there to hit that, but doubling up that lane could be a good idea to make sure that you get that guy. And this is whether it's going to the can or to this Aztec. And over here, kind of same thing. The home didn't have the best shot of that Dorito 1, but guys running out either to the Aztec or to that Dorito can, or to the Snakeside can shoot for that Dorito 1. It's right on the other side of that pin. Okay. Also running out here, you could probably shoot over the wedge back at home, or once you get out past the can, you can shoot back at home. Same thing on this side, over the wedge, or once you get past the can, you can shoot back at home, or people trying to run up to the center. Okay, so let's look at these Aztecs first. Okay, so the Snakeside Aztec, you got the inner shots. You don't have anything really on the tape, but you can keep that mini wall out of the snake, keep people out of the mini wall, and you can shoot back at home. Or what I really like is shooting, if you've got somebody in front of you that Dorito side can is stopping, you can probably put paint over that wedge and really make him flinch to help your front guy get up. So as a support spot here, if you've got somebody in front of you, I would also use this spot to bump out to the snake corner, which has that down the tape shot. Snake corner can also wrap on a good few bunkers, or even shoot inside of that Dorito side can, which could be the spot that's keeping your snake guy from making that bump up to the 50. So this could be a really good support spot. On that Aztec, not really much on the Dorito side except that gap to the Dorito 3. Okay, Dorito side Aztec, not much on the snake side. It is very protected on the snake side, so you can probably live in here quite a long time. And what I like the best about this bunker is it's the widest spot that has those down the tape shots at the edge of the Doritos. So this is your guy that's going to be keeping those Doritos from wrapping on whoever else you have shooting that way, more towards the inside of the field. So this guy doesn't really have to risk his body on gunfights, but be here, and if that inner guy tells you that they're wrapping on you, come out and prevent that wrap, to prevent them from moving up the side. So good if you're slow playing this side, send your one over here to kind of slow play it. Make sure you get established on the snake side and then make your moves up. Or this could be a support player here. Okay, these 2 cans on the inside of the field. Let's look at the snake side one first. So shots at those inner spots for guys trying to make their way out into the snake. Once they get out wide, you don't have anything on them. On the Dorito side, you got some good gaps over here. You can shoot for that Dorito 1. You do have to watch for paint coming over that wedge from the Dorito Aztec, but you've got this gap to the Dorito 2, to the Dorito 3. You can see a little bit of the outside for the guy going to the Dorito 4. So this spot, shooting Dorito way, is probably a spot that's going to be played. On this Dorito side can, this is one of those only bunkers anywhere close to the start box that can see that gap, snake 3 to snake 50. So if they do get into the snake, if you're not in the center 50, you want this guy to be, what's going on? You want this guy to be watching that gap to keep them from getting up there. And you've also got shots to help keep that guy out of the snake and out of the corner. Just going to have to watch for paint coming back over that wedge from the snake side Aztec. Dorito side of the field, you've got shots over here as well. So this is a good bunker, just both of these cans probably going to get tight very quick. The center 50, if you go in here, it's such a far move to make. You probably want to just take it off the break if you want to go up here. It is another spot that you could probably get tucked to ride in here and watch that snake 50 gap. If teams are killing you on the snake side, maybe you just want to send somebody straight up here and watch that gap instead of being in the cans where you can get pinched out from the Dorito side. Here you don't have to worry about that. So just one thing to make sure of, if you're in the home, and I think a lot of teams are going to double up this home to be able to get those break shots. Once they get wider than the Dorito 2 on the Dorito side, and once they get it into the snake on the snake side, the home no longer has any shots. So you got to get out of there. If the cans are open, you can move up to the cans, and now you have that shot on the snake. Move up to this can. Now you got those shots that you didn't have before on the Doritos. Or moving out to the Aztec, you've got those shots again. You could just try to bump up all the way to the center 50, or you could work your way over and try and get out into the snake corner, if not just somewhere where you can shoot the outside of that center 50 to keep them from wrapping on you. Okay, so let's talk about a play or two here. Let's do what I think would be the base play most of the time. So 2 at home. One guy getting that quick shot on that Dorito Aztec and switching the lane over, either just for the safety lane for the Dorito 2 or for that little sliver, little gap right in between before the Dorito 1, in between the pin and it. Snake side guy shooting right outside of that snake side Aztec, then switching the lane over to that wide gap, either for the corner, probably just for the snake, low for the snake. Okay, one guy over here on the Dorito side of this Aztec, helping out on that cross-field shot off the break, getting that good angle on the guy running to the mini wall, and we're really keying up on him. And then once he gets in there, just watching down the tape, preventing the guys wrapping and putting in the home guy to make a move. So these two guys working together on the Dorito side. And then on the snake side, one guy either straight into the snake, if you can make it there, or just into the mini wall. So he's got that option. And one support guy behind him going to this Aztec, where he can shoot back at home to help this guy getting out there off the break. He's shooting upfield to help his guy get into the snake. But once he gets into the snake, or before if he can, trying to bump out to the snake corner. Okay, so this is more of a snake push play. Got these two guys that are on the snake side, guns up down the tape, trying to push themselves in. One guy slow playing the Dorito side, and then your gunners out of the back center. But a lot of times you're going to want to push the Dorito side since it's pretty strong too. So, especially if you've been breaking the snake often, you can probably take a chance on taking ground on the Dorito side to any one of these three Doritos. Having a guy as a support player in this Dorito Aztec, shooting back at home to help protect the runner. And then both of those guys are guns up down the tape, trying to make their way up the field up there. Okay, one guy at home, shooting snake side off the break. And just watching snake way. If he lets him into the snake, he can bump up into that can. One guy out to the snake side Aztec, slow play on the snake side. And he can shoot paint back up the center. On his way out there, just being safe, making his moves when he can. And then the last guy on this snake side can. Getting the shot off the break at that Dorito 1 runner. And just posting up on the Dorito side. So that's your Dorito push with the two guys over on the left working their way down. One guy on the snake side slow playing, and these two center gunners crossing up. Another play, if you don't want to risk bodies or just have heavy guns up off the break, you can cross up these two cans. Two in the home, and that's going to allow you to shoot a lot of spots off the break. But okay, so the snake side can, helping out with that first gap toward the mini wall, and then switching for a snake runner, snake side of home, doubling up that first lane, and then switching wide for maybe the corner. Dorito side home guy focusing on that short shot, but then he can be a safety lane for the Dorito 2, and the snake side can guy honing in on that Dorito 1. And all those guys just staying that way, locking that side of the field down. So two guns each way. And then you got the fifth guy. Yeah, if you don't want to risk anybody off the break, you could just send him to one of these Aztecs and slow play that side. You could still, even though you've got these four guys that are heavy gun, staying kind of in a back spot, you can still send a guy wide anywhere. So that's that play. Other variations, if you want to take the center 50, send somebody straight up there, that would probably be instead of this can. There's always a play where you just have one guy in home. This is just a small variation, kind of a base play. Got a guy wide on each side, but they don't really have any support players. 2 guys crossing up in the back, and 1 guy in the center 50. With that guy in the center 50, as long as he makes it, this home guy is freed up to either go and help out the Dorito side guy, or to swing over and help the snake side guy. So there you go. There's my breakdown and playbook for the MVPS 2020 Southeastern Championship, the third event of the MVPS. There you go.